So we need to know how many people will be tuning into live stream so as to know that we have a minion, because we're only 7 on this form.
You're live now, Emily.
Okay, it's live. Let's double check that we have a minion.
You're live now, Emily.
Okay, Yaira, would you like to get started?
Live. Let's double check that we have
a minion.
All right. Please turn to page 10 in the Sidur Lev Shalom for Yadi Nefesh. Yadi Nefesh Aparachaman Meshoch Avdach El Retzonach Yarutz Avdach Kimoayal Yishtachaveh El Mul Hadarach Ki Erav Lo Yedidutach Minof Betzuv Vechol Ta'am Hadurna Eziv Ha'olam Nafshi cholat ahavtach Ana elna rifanala Beharot la noam zivach Az titchazek vetidrapeh V'haitalach shivchat olam V'tikyehemu rachamecha V'chusna al beino havach Ki ze kama nimsoch nichsaf Liro Tiferet Uzach Ana Eli Machmad Libi Chushana Ve'al Titalam Higalena Ufros Chaviv Alai Na Yetsukat Shelomach Ta'ir Eretz Mikvodach Nagila V'nismecha bach Maher Ahuv Kiva Moed V'choneni B'mei olam Yananai nai 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 Yananai nai 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 Yananai nai 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 Yananai nai nai Yananai nai 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 Yananai nai 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 Yananai nai 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 Yananai nai nai Yananai nai 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 Yananai nai 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 Yananai nai 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 Yananai nai nai Yananai nai 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 Yananai nai 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 Yananai nai 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 nai.
I would just like to welcome everyone to Friday night Shabbat, led by our USYers tonight. Yaira, our USY ritual chair, being the lead, and later a Devar Torah by Emily Fisher, our advisor, as Yaira continues on behalf of our USY to lead our service.
So next, Leah Green will be leading us in Lachun Ranana.
Please turn to page 11 in Lev Shalom.
Lechuneranena, 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 Adonai. Lechuneranena, 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 Adonai. Naria, Naria, Litzur Yishenu, Nekadma Pranav Betorda. Naria, Naria, Litzur Yishenu, Bismirot Naria Lo. Lechuneranena, 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 Adonai. Lechuneranena, 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 Adonai. Thank you, Leah. Next, we will turn to page 12 at the arrow. Arba'im Shana Aku Bedor Va'omar Am Toe Levavhem Vehem Lo Yadu Derachai Asher Nishpati V'api Im Yevaun El Menuchati. Please turn to page 13 for Shiru Ladonai. Shiru Ladonai, Shir Chadash, Shiru Ladonai, Kol Haaretz, Shiru Ladonai, Baruch Shemo, Basru Miyom Liyom Yeshuato, Safru Bagoyim Kevodo, Bechol Ha'amim Niflotav, Ki Gadol Adonai, Umehulal Me'od. Norahu al kol Elohim ay 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 ki kol Elohe ha'amim elilim va'adonai shamayim asa hod v'hadar lefanav oz v'tiferet b'mikdasho havu ladonai mishbechot amim havu ladonai kavod ba'oz Havu Ladonai Kevod Shemo Se'u Mincha Uvol Echatzrotav Ay 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 Hishtakavu Ladonai Behadra Kodesh Chilu Mipanav Kol Haaretz Imru Bagoyim Adonai Malach Aftikon Tevel Bal Timot Yadin Amim B'Meisharim Yismechu Hashamayim V'Tagel Haaretz Yiram Hayam Umelo Yalo Sadai V'Chol Asher Bo Ay 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 Az Yaranenu Kol Atzeyar Lifnei Adonai Kiva Kiva lishbot haaretz yishbot tevel betzedek ve'amim be'emunato yanai 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 Yai nai 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 yai nai nai ya nai ya nai nai ya nai na nai nai ya nai ya nai nai ya na nai ya na nai ya nai ya nai nai ya nai ya nai nai ya nai ya nai nai ya na nai ya na nai. Please turn to page 15. Adonai malach takel haaretz yismechu ayim rabim. Page 16 at the bottom. Orza ruach la tzadik uyishrev simcha simchu tzadikim baronai vehod lechazor kodsho. Next, Ari will read a psalm on page 20.
Moses and Aaron amongst God's priests. and Samuel among those who called upon the divine name. You called, and we called to you, and you answered them. You spoke to them from amidst the clouds. They kept your covenant and the law you gave them. You answered them, Adonai our God, who were forgiving God to them, even as you punished them for their transgressions.
Thank you. And next, Leah leads us at the arrow on page 20 for Romamu.
Romanu Adonai Eloheinu v'yishtachavu l'har kodsho. Romanu Adonai Eloheinu v'yishtachavu l'har kodsho. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu Romanu. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu Romanu. Romanu Adonai Eloheinu v'yishtachavu l'har kodsho. Romanu Adonai Eloheinu v'yishtachavu l'har kodsho. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu Romanu. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu.
Thank you, Leah and Ari. Next, we turn to page 21 for Mizmor LeDavid. Mizmor LeDavid. Havu Adonai b'nei Elim, Havu Adonai kavod va'os, Havu Adonai kevod shemo, Yishtachavu Adonai behadrat kodesh, Kol Adonai al hamayim el hakavod hirim, Adonai al mayim rabim. Kol Adonai ba'koach, Kol Adonai behadar, Kol Adonai shober arazim, Vaishaber Adonai et azrei havanon, Vayarkidem kemo egel Levanon, Vesiryon, kemo ben remim, Kol Adonai chotzef lavodesh, Kol Adonai yachil midbar, Yachil Adonai midbar kadesh, Kol Adonai yecholel ayalot, Vayechesof ye'arot, Uvehechalo kulo, Omer kavod, kulo omer kavod. Adonai lama buyashav, Vayeshev Adonai melech leolam, Adonai oz le'amo yitain, Adonai yevarech et amo v'shalom. Yain nai nai nai, yain nai 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 nai, yain nai nai nai, yain nai, yain nai, yain nai nai nai, yain nai, yain nai nai nai. Thank you. Next, Ari leads us on page 23 in the left margin.
Rabbi Shimon ben Lakish taught, the day of Shabbat came before the Holy One and said, Creator of the world, every day has a pattern. Sunday has Monday. But I have no pattern. The Holy One replied, Israel should be your pattern. And when Israel stood at Sinai, God said to them, Remember my promise to Shabbat, that Israel will be your pattern. Thus it is written, remember the day of Shabbat to keep it holy.
Thank you. We stay on page 23 for Lechadodi. Lecha dodi likrat kala yababa 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 pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala yababa 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 pnei Shabbat nekabela. Shamor vezachor bedibur echad. Hishmianu el hamiuchad, Adonai echad, ushemo echad, Leshem utiferet belitila, Lecha dodi likrat kala yababa 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 pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala yababa 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 pnei Shabbat nekabela. Likrat Shabbat lechu benelcha Hihi mekor haberacha merosh mikedem nesucha sof maaseh b'machashava tehila lecha dodi likrat kala yababa 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 pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala yababa 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 pnei Shabbat nekabela. Hitoreri kiva oreku mi uri shir daberi kevod Adonai alayich nigla. Lecha dodi likrat kala yababa 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 pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala yababa 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 pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lo tevoshi velo tikami ma tishochachi uma tehami bach yesu anini ami venifta ir altila. Lecha dodi likrat kala pnei Shabbat nekabela. V'hayu lishmo sosaich v'rachaku kol mevalayich yasis alayich elochayich kimsos chatan al kala. Lecha dodi likrat kala pnei Shabbat nekabela. Yamin usmo tifroti ve et Adonai ta'ariti al yad ish ben farsi venismecha venagila. Lecha dodi likrat kala pnei Shabbat nekabela. Please rise. Bo'i v'shalom ateret ba'ala gam besimcha uvetzohala toch emunei am segula bo'i chala lecha dodi likrat kala pnei Shabbat nekabela. Yana nai 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 nai, yana nai nai nai, yana nai 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 nai, yana nai nai nai, yana nai 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 nai, yana nai nai nai, yana nai nai, yana nai nai nai. Next, we turn to page 27 as Leah leads us in Mizmor Shir.
Thank you. Mizmor shir leyom hashabbat, tov lehodot l'Adonai, ulezamer l'shimcha elyon, ulezamer l'shimcha elyon, lehagid b'boker chastecha, ve'emunatecha b'leilot, עלי עשור ועלי נבל, עלי הגיון בכינור, מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון.
Next, we turn to page 28 at the arrow. Tzadika tamar yifrach, ke'erez balavanon yiskeh, shetulim beveit Adonai, bechatzrot Eloheinu yafrichu. Od yenuvun beseba, deshenim verananim yiyu lehagid, ki yashar Adonai, tsuri tsuri velo ablatabo.
With that, we turn to page 30 for Kaddish Yatom. Those observing a yurtzeit or who are in mourning, I invite you to join together with me. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, v'alma divra kirutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechonu v'yomechonu v'chaye dechol beit Yisrael, ba'agalau v'yizman kari v'imru amen, Yehei shmei Rabbah mevarach leolamo me'omaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalal shemei dekudsha berichu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata damiran v'yoma v'imru amen Yehei shlama Rabbah min shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen Osei shalom b'mromav Hu Yaseh Shalom Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'kol yoshvei tevel v'imru Amen. It's our custom at CBI to have a teaching between Kabbalat Shabbat, the prayers that are our transition from the work week, before the call to prayer, which will mark the formal beginning of our Ma'ariv, our evening service. Emily Fisher, our teacher.
Thank you for the warm welcome, Rabbi Spitz. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Could I get a nod from my teens that I can be heard okay? Okay, wonderful. The Torah portion Vayera is one many of us recall from our religious school days, regardless of whether those are still your religious school days or way in the past. God speaks to Abraham, telling him to sacrifice his son, and Abraham is willing to do so without question until an angel intervenes at the last minute. Of course, there's more to Vayera than the binding of Isaac. The parsha begins with Abraham welcoming 3 strangers who announce that Sarah will have said son in a year's time. Sarah, at age 30, laughs. Next, Abraham argues with God about sparing the lands of Sodom and Gomorrah with minimal success. Sarah does indeed have her son, Isaac, at which point we eventually return to the aforementioned near sacrifice. So, what do all of these stories have in common? God, and more specifically, how our ancestors struggled with, argued with, and trusted God, often all at the same time. For example, take Sarah. Sarah, after years and years of yearning for a child, has given up hope that she'll ever be a mother. She allows Abraham to have a son with her aid, though not by blood. So when she's told she'll finally have a son by her own womb, she laughs. But sure enough, God gives her a son. Look at Abraham. He literally negotiates with God, bargaining him down to fewer and fewer good people trying to save Sodom and Gomorrah. The Torah shows, in this instance and in many others, that sometimes it is necessary to question God. After all, challenging and confronting God is a way of believing in God. You can't challenge something you don't think exists. In a way, then, struggling with God affirms our relationship with God. It means we take God seriously enough to have that kind of relationship. And there are a lot of ways to believe in God. Sure, pure faith is one, but not the only way. We can love, question, even, dare I say, be angry with God. In the mid-20th century, Aaron Zeitlin wrote a poem in the aftermath of the Holocaust detailing his own relationship with God. Praise me, says God, and I will know that you love me. Curse me, says God, and I will know that you love me. Praise me or curse me, and I will know that you love me. Sing out my graces, says God. Raise your fist against me and revile, says God. Sing out graces or revile. Reviling is also a kind of praise, says God. But if you sit fenced off in your apathy, says God. If you sit entrenched in, I don't give a hang, says God. If you look at the stars and yawn, if you see suffering and don't cry out, if you don't praise and you don't revile, then I created you in vain, says God. Zeitlin was angry and confused. How could he not be, given everything he had just seen happen in the world? How could we not be, given everything we're seeing happening in the world? I think our relationship with God is at a rather tenacious point, because I think our world is hurting. Our relationship with the world is hurting. Our relationship with one another is hurting. And it's not just this week, although I will concede, I think this has been a particularly stressful week for all of us. But the entire world is stressed beyond belief right now by everything from politics to climate change to health. And study after study has shown that Gen Z in particular is more stressed than any previous generation, both compared to the present and in terms of how previous generations were at the same age. With so much stress and confusion, how can Gen Z not be angry and questioning the world, God, anything and everything? And so, to my teens in particular, but also to everyone, I challenge you to be angry and to be okay with being angry, within reason, of course, and to question and be challenging the things that you're facing and to struggle. But don't fall into the pits of feeling nothing. Take that anger and confusion and use it to stay engaged and to learn more about the world and to make changes in the world. Keep caring. Don't sit fenced off in your apathy, and keep making a difference. And don't forget to trust sometimes either. Trust in God and trust in each other that we as individuals, as a people, will not just survive, but thrive, just as our ancestors before us. And if you want to challenge God and argue that this is not the way things should be, then I encourage you to do so. Strive to be better and help other people be better so we can all be a little bit more godly and make the world a little bit more perfect. Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom, Emily. That was beautiful. Please turn. We're going to start our Mariv service, so please turn to page 39A for the Baruch Hu. And please rise. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach.
Leolam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Leolam Va'ed. You may be seated. 39A at the arrow. Umavir yom, umevi laila, umavdil ben yom uben laila, Adonai tzavot shemo, El chai v'kayam, tamid imoch aleinu le'olam va'ed, Baruch atah Adonai, hamari v'aravim. Page 40 for Ahavat Olam. Ahavat Olam Beit Yisrael Amcha Avta Torah umitzvot chukim umishpatim otanu limadeta Al kein Adonai Eloheinu b'shacheinu uvekumenu nasiach b'chukecha ונשמח בדברי תורתך ובמצוותיך לעולם ועד. כי הם חיינו ואורך ימינו ואורך ימינו ובהם נגה יומם בלילה ויעבדך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים ברוך אתה אדוני אוהב עמו ישראל. Page 41, Ava leads us in the Shema.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושינתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשבתך ובקומך ובשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך ובטבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך.
Thank you. Please continue silently. Please turn to page 44 at the top arrow. Umalchuto beratzon kiblu aleichem Moshe b'nei Yisrael lechanu shira b'simcha rabba v'yamru chulam mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai mi chamocha nedar b'kodesh Nora teilot osef elech Malchutecha ra'u banecha bokeam lifnei Moshe Zelianu v'yamru Adonai imloch le'olam ba'ed V'ne'emar kifad Adonai et Yaakov U'goalot miyad chazak mimenu Baruch atah Adonai Go Yisrael. Please turn to page 45 for Hashkivein. Hashkiveinu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom v'hamidenu malkeinu lechaim. Hashkiveinu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom v'hamidenu malkeinu lechaim. Ufros aleinu Sukkot shlomecha Ufros aleinu Sukkot shlomecha Hashivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom v'hamidenu malkeinu lechaim. Page 45 at the arrow. Ushmor tzeitenu, uvoenu lechayim u'leshalom yatav yad olam. Ufros aleinu sukat shalomecha, baruch atah Adonai. Hafoket sukat shalom aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael ve'al Yerushalayim. Page 46 for Vishamru. Veshamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat לעשות והשבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות בהשבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי 6 ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות בהשבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. We continue on page 46 as Ava leads us in the Chatzi Kaddish.
יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, ועמד יברח יורתי ימלך מלכותי, בחייכון וביומכון ובחיית כל בית ישראל, בגלה בגלה ובזמן קריב במהרו אמן. יהי שמרה מבורך, לעולם לעולמי עלמיה יתברך. יתברך וישתבח ויפרימן ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתהלל ויתהלל, שמי קדושה בריחו לעילם מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונעמתה, תרמם בעלמא במהרו amen.
Amen. Thank you so much, Ava. Please rise on page 47 for the silent Amidah. Please remain standing for the repetition of the Amidah on page 53. ויחולו השמיים והארץ וכל צבאם, ויחל אלוהים ביום השביעי מלאכתו אשר עשה, וישבות ביום השביעי מכל מלאכתו אשר עשה. ויברך אלוהים את יום השביעי, ויקדש אותו, כי בו שבת מכל מלאכתו אשר ברא אלוהים לעשות. ברוך אתה אדוני Eloheinu ve'Eloheinu ve'Imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor V'Hanora, El Elyon, Konei Shamayim V'Aretz, Magen Avod Bidvarot, Mechaye Metim B'Mamarom, Ha'el Hakadosh Shen Kamahu, Hameniach Le'amo, V'yom Shabbat Kodsho, Kiva Ratza Le'aniach Lahem, Kiva Ratza Le'aniach Lahem, Lefanav Navod Biraha, V'nodeh Lishmo B'chol Yom Tamid, Me'en HaBrachot. El HaHodaot Adon HaShalom Mekadesh HaShabbat Umevorech Shevi Umeniach Bikdusha Le'amek Dushnei Oneg Zecher Lemase Bereshit Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu Retzeh Bimnuchatenu Kadeshenu b'mitzvotecha v'tein chelkenu b'toratecha Sapeinu mituvecha v'samchenu b'shuatecha v'taher libeinu li'ovdecha be'emet v'hanchilenu Adonai Eloheinu be'ahava uratzon Shabbat kodshecha ve'anuchu va'Yisrael mekadeshei shemecha Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh haShabbat.
Amen.
Hadi Shalom. Yikadav Yikadashem Me Rabbah.
Amen.
B'yamad Yivarach Yiruteh V'yamlich Malchuteh B'chayachonu V'yamechonu V'chayedech Chol Beit Yisrael B'galav Yizman Kariv Ve'imeru Amen.
Amen.
Yehei Rabba
Yehei Rabba
Mevorach
Mevorach
Ve'alam
Ve'olam Ha'omer
Maya
Yiparach.
Yiparach V'yishtabach V'yipa'ar V'yitermam V'yitnaseh V'yitadar V'yitalev V'yitalal Shemei Dekudesha B'richu Le'elam Min Kol Birchata V'shirata Tishbechata V'nechamata Damiram B'yalma Ve'imeru Amen. Titkabot Zlotonu V'lchon Dechol Yisrael Kodam Uvene Yiti Bishmaya Ve'imeru Amen. Yehi Shlama Rabba Min Shemaya V'chayim Aleinu V'yakol Yisrael Ve'imeru Amen. Osei Shalom B'mromav Hu Yaseh Shalom Aleinu V'yakol Yisrael Ve'imru Amen. Please turn to page 56 for Aleinu. Aleinu l'shabeach ladon hakol latet gelula liotzer breshit shelo asanu kigoye haratzot velo usamanu kmishpechot hadama shelo sam chelkenu kahem vegor aleinu kechol hamonam v'anachnu korim umishtachavim umodim lifnei melech malchei hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Shehu Notei Shamayim Ve'yotzei Haaretz, U'Moshe V'Karam B'Shamayim Imal, U'Shkinatu Zo, V'Gavrei Meromim, Hu Eloheinu Einod, Emet Malkeinu Efes Ulato, Kakatu B'Torato, B'yadata Yom V'chashevota Elevavecha, Ki Adonai Hu Elohim, B'Shamayim Imo, V'Yaharetz Mitachat Einod. Page 57 at the arrow. Kakatu betoratecha Adonai imloch le'olam va'ed v'nemar v'haya Adonai lemelech al kol haaretz bayom hahu hiye Adonai echad u'shemo Ushemo, Ushemo Echad. You may finally be seated.
Except those observing a yurtside or who are in mourning, whom I join with on page 58, honoring the memory of our loved ones, Kaddish Yatom. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei rabbah, v'alma divra kirute v'yamlich malchute, v'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael, ba'agala uv'izman kari v'imru amen. Yehei shmei rabba mevorach, le'olam omeo maya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitba'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'tadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei d'kudsha barichu, le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, tamiran b'yoma v'imru amen. Yehei shlam rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'kol yoshvei tevel v'imru amen. In this time of virtual services, it's a delight to have our USYers leading us. I want to thank Yaira and Ari and Leah and Ava for your leadership. I want to thank Emily Fisher, our youth advisor, for her Devar Torah tonight. Tomorrow morning, services are at 10 o'clock in the sanctuary, live streamed, and I'll be joined by Amy Robinson Katz. This is our first Friday night with Ma'ariv Zoom service. And again, I want to thank particularly Yaira for having prepared in advance the pagination and having led so capably tonight. It's a pleasure to have USY in the mix of the variety of things that we're looking to offer on Friday nights and Saturday. With that, I turn to Emily for some announcements on behalf of USY.
Shabbat Shalom again, everyone. So a couple upcoming things to note. We do have our Shabbat Club speaker. The link will be sent out via Remind at 7:15 for a 7:20 start. It's automated. I won't be using it. And that way everyone has a little bit of chance to spend some time with their families post services before we get started with the speaker. Tomorrow evening, we have a Disney USY Saturday night event for our 7th through 12th graders. This is in lieu of our drive-in movie night, which we had to postpone due to rain. So instead, that will be happening during the spring. And we also had to postpone our Machar and Kadima event for this Sunday. So that'll be next Sunday instead. And of course, we always have our lounges on Tuesday nights. Tonight,
you're going to all be in for a great, probably sound show as the rain's going to storm starting in the middle of the night and going all through Sunday. Who's the speaker tonight? So we actually have a surprise speaker of me. Unfortunately, there was a family emergency for our speaker this month, and he had to leave and go back to Serbia today. Will not be our speaker. So instead, I'll be giving a little bit of a talk on relevant to the Torah portion when you're angry and confused, self-care, mental health tips, and how to best take care of yourself in a chaotic world. Well, that sounds like an important topic. Thank you. Yaira, I'll turn things back to you to close us up.
Okay, USYers, I'm going to ask you, are we thinking more Yigdal? Are we thinking more Adon Olam?
Yigdal.
Okay. Let's do Yigdal. Please turn to page 62 for Yigdal. Yigdal Elohim Chai ve'yishtabach nimsa v'ein et el mesiuto echad v'ein yachid. Okay, well, hold on. 1 second. Yigdal Elohim Chai ve'yishtabach nimsa v'ein et el mesiuto echad v'ein yachid ke'ichud Yado, Nelam Begamin Sof, Lehachduto, Ein Lo Demuta Guf, Ve'ein Lo Guf, Lo Na'aro Ela Kedushato, Kadmon Lechol Davar, Asher Nifra, Rishon Ve'ein Reshit, Lereshito, Hino Adon Olam, Bechol Notzar, Yoreh Gedulato, Umalchuto, Shefan Evulato, Netano El, Anat Shesegulato, Vetifarto, Lokam Be'Yisrael, Kemoshe Od, Navi Umabit, Et Temunato, Torah Demet Natan, Leamo El, Aya Nevi O, Neman Beto, Lo Ya Khalifa El, Velo Yamir Dato, Leolamim, Lezulato, Sofevio de Atitarenu, Marbit Lesof Davar, Bekad Mato, Gomel Leish Chesed Kemi Follow, Noten L'Rasha Ra Kerishato, Yishlach L'Ketz Yamin, Meshichenu, Livdot Mechakeket Yeshuato, Metim Yechayael Berov Chasto, Baruch Hadei Ad Shem Tehilato, Metim Yechayael Kerov Chasto, Baruch Hadei Ad Shem Tehilato.
Shabbat Shalom and thank you to our USYers. We're proud of you. Shabbat Shalom.